what if the very thing you believe is keeping you from your twin flame is, in fact, the sacred key that unlocks the door to a union so profound your current self can barely even imagine it? Let's be real. The waiting can feel like a special kind of torture, can't it? A cosmic test of patience, set to the soundtrack of your own lonely heartbeat. You've likely been told to focus on yourself, to heal, to vibrate higher. It sounds good in theory, but in the quiet of the night, a more desperate question whispers, if I let go of everything, will there be anything left of me to hold? We've been conditioned to see celibacy as a void, a barren waiting room where we sit in passive hope, collecting dust. But what if you've been looking at it all backwards? What if this isn't a passive waiting, but the most active and potent creation of your entire life? Imagine for a moment that your spirit isn't a lonely seeker, but a brilliant, multifaceted diamond. Every past hurt, every fleeting connection, every compromise you made in the name of love has left a nearly invisible film upon its surface. You still shine, of course you do, but the full, prismatic, blinding truth of your light is muted. You are broadcasting, but on a frequency cluttered with static. The journey toward your twin flame isn't about two separate lights straining to find each other in a dark void. It is about you polishing your own diamond with such deliberate, loving attention that it becomes a lighthouse, so piercingly bright, so singular in its frequency, that it becomes utterly impossible for its matching counterpart to ignore. This isn't about becoming worthy of love outside yourself. This is about becoming so radically complete that when that divine mirror stands before you, you won't see a missing half, but a reflection of the wholeness you've already forged within. The path may seem solitary, but you're not building a wall. You are, perhaps for the first time, building the foundation strong enough to hold a miracle. You know that feeling, don't you? That subtle pull, a low-grade hum of anxiety or longing that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. It's the 2 a.m. restlessness that has you scrolling through old photos, or the peculiar emptiness that descends after a perfectly normal, productive day. We've been taught to call this loneliness. We've been conditioned to believe it's a void that must be filled by another, a text message, a date, a fleeting encounter that offers the warm, familiar glow of temporary attention. But what if I told you that feeling isn't a void at all? What if it's not an absence, but a presence? It's the palpable sensation of your own life force, your divine essence, stretched taut like 1,000 silken threads, connecting you to a constellation of past loves, almost loves, and could have been. In our work, we sometimes call them Kental cords. But let's drop the jargon for a moment and call them what they are, phantom limbs of the heart. You feel them because on some level, a part of you is still there, still trying to resolve that old argument, still seeking that withheld validation, still energetically kneeling at the feet of someone who left years ago. It's a brutal, beautiful truth. You are a walking, talking network of these energetic attachments, and your poor, magnificent twin flame soul is trying to tune into the pure, unadulterated frequency of you, but all it's getting is static, a chaotic, dissonant symphony of other people's expectations, your own past hurts, and the ghost of conversations that never reached a true conclusion. It's like trying to listen to a sublime piece of classical music on a radio dial stuck between 3 heavy metal stations and a talk show host selling used cars. The signal of your soul is there, but my God, is it hard to hear? This is the real, unglamorous work of sacred celibacy. It's not about a pious abstinence. It's a conscious, willful, and fiercely compassionate act of reclamation. You are, day by day, breath by breath, gently and firmly pulling your energy back. You are calling all parts of yourself home. Imagine each of those silken threads glowing with your own stolen light, retracting from the past and weaving themselves back into the tapestry of your own aura. This isn't a process of angry cutting, but of tender, grateful releasing. You thank the person for the lesson, you bless the experience, and you declare, with all the authority of a sovereign being, what is mine returns to me. And as you do this, a miraculous thing begins to happen. The static begins to fade. The chaotic noise of 1,000 different connections simplifies into a single, clear, coherent tone. Your tone, the unique vibrational signature that the cosmos assigned to your soul alone. This is what we mean by energetic sovereignty. It's not a fortress you build to keep people out. It's a coherent, powerful, and radiant magnetic field that you generate from a place of utter wholeness. You are no longer a beggar at the banquet of love, hoping for scraps of attention. You become the banquet itself, and from this place of profound self-possession, you emit a signal so pure, so specific, so undiluted, that it acts as a homing beacon. Your twin flame isn't searching for a fragmented soul tangled in the dramas of the past. They are, often unconsciously, navigating by the stars, seeking the one lighthouse whose light burns with a frequency that matches their own. A cluttered, dissonant signal is impossible to navigate toward. A clear, sovereign signal is irresistible. This is the ultimate paradox. By turning away from all other connections, you're not building a wall between you and your twin. You are, for the first time, building the only bridge that can truly hold the weight of your union. A bridge made of your own, fully reclaimed spirit. And the most fascinating part? This reclaiming of your energy doesn't just prepare the space for them. It fundamentally changes the very nature of the connection you'll be able to build. But that leads us to the silent, subconscious programming running in the background of your very being. The real blueprint that dictates every single relationship you've ever had. So you've called your energy back. You feel more solid, more present, a sovereign being in your own skin. The static has faded. Bravo, truly. But now comes the real revolution. And it begins with a question that might sound strange. When you think of love, what is the first feeling that arises? Is it a sense of expansive, terrifying freedom? Or is it a familiar, almost comforting clutch of anxiety in your solar plexus? Be honest. For most of us, it's the latter. We've been running a program written in the silent language of childhood wounds and past heartbreaks that equates love with a kind of beautiful, agonizing need. It's the drama of the waiting text, the high-stakes decoding of tone, the roller coaster of pursuit and withdrawal. We mistake the adrenalized rush of uncertainty for passion. We confuse the soul-deep ache of abandonment for intimacy. This, my friend, is your old intimacy blueprint. It's not your fault. It's just outdated software, and it's about to be completely upgraded. Sacred celibacy, in its most profound expression, is the ultimate system reboot. It's the conscious decision to unplug from the external search for a fix. And let me tell you, the moment you pull that plug, the silence can be deafening. All those old ghosts you've been outrunning with romance and distraction. They show up in your living room, expecting an audience. The feeling of being unlovable, the terror of being truly seen, the childhood belief that you must earn love through performance or perfection. They all rise to the surface, not to punish you, but because you are finally still enough to hear them. This is where we move from energy work to neuroalchemy. Every time you chose a partner who was emotionally unavailable, you were reinforcing a neural pathway. You were telling your brain, this chaotic chemistry is what love feels like. It became an addictive loop, a hit of dopamine and cortisol, a familiar pain you mistook for your soul's destination. Your nervous system, that brilliant, ancient guardian, learned to equate love with a state of high alert. Now, in the conscious container of celibacy, you are doing something radical. You are allowing that craving for the old drama to arise, and you are not acting on it. You are sitting with the loneliness until it morphs into solitude. You are facing the emptiness until it reveals itself as vast, peaceful space. You are, synapse by synapse, teaching your entire being a new truth. That safety is sexy. That wholeness is your birthright. That the ultimate validation is the one you give yourself in the quiet of your own heart, without a single witness. Think of it this way. You're a magnificent, ancient cathedral. For years, you've been letting people come in and scribble on the walls, hold loud, chaotic parties in the nave, and rearrange the sacred altars to suit their temporary needs. The original architecture, the stunning stained glass, the quiet spaces for prayer, all of it was obscured. This period isn't about locking the doors out of fear. It's about gently, reverently clearing out the chaos. It's about polishing your own windows until the light you generate floods the space with a kaleidoscope of colors you forgot were yours. You are restoring the cathedral to its original divine blueprint. And when that restoration is complete, something hilarious and wonderful happens. You are no longer a glitchy, love-starved app seeking an update from every passing phone. You become a stable, powerful operating system, one that can only be matched by another system of equal coherence. The old chaotic partners, they simply won't compute anymore. They'll feel uninteresting. The connection will fizzle, not out of judgment, but out of a fundamental incompatibility in your core programming. You have, through the fierce grace of solitude, rewired yourself for a peaceful love, for a passion that is built on the rock of deep, unwavering respect, not the shifting sands of anxiety. This is how you prepare for a twin flame union that is a miracle, not a trauma bond. You aren't just waiting for a person. You are building a reality, a sanctuary, that can only be inhabited by a love that is calm, clear, and divinely sane. And the most beautiful part? As you sit in your restored cathedral, shining with your own light, you'll begin to notice the universe sending in the most curious, synchronistic contractors little signs, intuitive nudges, unexpected blessings that seem to know exactly what finishing touches this sacred space needs. But that is a conversation about how life itself begins to collaborate with your wholeness. And so, here you are, standing in the quiet. The great work of reclamation feels less like a battle and more like a dawn. The slow, inevitable light seeping into every corner of a landscape you once thought was defined by its shadows. You have called your spirit home, and in the stunning silence that followed, you did not break. You learned its language. You composed a new anthem from the rhythms of your own heartbeat. This is the secret they don't tell you in the frantic seeking. The ultimate purpose of this sacred preparation is not to make you worthy of a love outside yourself. It is to bring you to the breathtaking, somewhat hilarious realization that the love you were seeking was you all along. Not a smaller solitary version of love, but the vast, oceanic, and complete love that is your true nature. The love that was simply waiting for all the noise to cease so it could reveal its own symphony. Your twin flame, then, does not arrive to save you from loneliness. How could they? You've already befriended the solitude and found it to be a profound teacher. They do not come to complete you, for a masterpiece is not completed by another. It is acknowledged, admired, and met with a corresponding depth. When you meet from this place, the encounter is not a collision of two desperate halves, but a conscious, graceful alignment. It is the recognition of a familiar and beloved frequency in another. Not because you need it to survive, but because your own vibration has finally risen to meet it. Think of it as two master musicians who have spent a lifetime practicing alone, each honing their craft in separate rooms, learning to play their own instrument with such soulful precision that the music they create is whole and satisfying by itself. When they finally come together, they do not play the same note in unison. They create a harmony so complex, so rich, and so unexpectedly beautiful that it becomes a third, entirely new entity, a sound that could never have been conceived by one alone. Your sovereign self is that master musician. The period of sacred focus was your solitary practice. The union is the Unforeseen Symphony. This path is not a punishment of deprivation. It is the most profound act of self-blessing you will ever undertake. You're not being prepared for a test. You're being invited to a celebration. The guest of honor is the person you are becoming, and the love that finds you there, calm, clear-eyed, and radiantly whole, will be a love that knows exactly where to land, because you have prepared the ground with the very essence of your being. You are not waiting for a miracle. You are building the altar upon which it will gladly arrive.